All right, welcome to Victory, the podcast. We're all back, which is nice. I wish we had Jerry here, but we're talking season 3 finale. What episode?
Okay, I can't wait till we don't have to do this anymore. Season 3B, episode 8. So that's
what do you mean you can't wait until we?
I mean, it's just the 3B. It's
okay, but that means we will be done with the
Adios
the whole thing.
Season 3. This will close out season 3.
I gotta say,
great
what's pretty
episode.
impressive, and I know there's some angry little fuckers out there, but we've done 160 some odd episodes, and we've only covered.
Well, yeah, that's how to have the longevity on the podcast. I mean, we would have been out of episodes.
We have some complainers though. I think there's people who generally like when we talk about other things also, but some aren't. They just want to hear about the episodes, and that's fine. So
that's fine. But you know what? The numbers don't lie.
Are good, huh?
The numbers don't lie.
They are my favorites. I love doing the episodes.
Yeah.
And this one was great.
This one was great, and you know the thing is,
Adios, amigos.
I wish we would just get our ass in gear and get some of these guests. Because first of all, I could have gotten Colleen Camp, who played the realtor, which we'll get into the story
we
of why
want to
she's
talk
there.
about that. There's a lot going on.
Great actor.
She
Adam
also
Goldberg
played some other parts, if you recall.
I do.
The old jacuzzi scene where I get bent over in the jacuzzi scene.
She gave you the rim job, right?
Best rim job in Hollywood.
Right. And she filled in for us the last second because somebody quit. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So, but also Adam Goldberg.
Yeah.
He was great.
Now, we just watched it 5 minutes ago. I'm already forgetting. But Reese should come back. Quick.
Reese was so good in this episode.
He really was.
And no offense to Rob Weiss, who, you know, is one of our great contributors to this show. But I offered him, because we've talked about it before, but Billy Walsh was based on Rob Weiss, who wrote on Entourage and made a great movie in the 90s amongst friends. And I said, Rob, play yourself. And we also tried to get Vincent Gallo to play himself.
Vincent Gallo would have been great.
He would have been very good. Yeah.
Gallo's an
You know what?
Awesome.
And Vincent Gallo is amazing.
But it's
and
impossible
Rob's
to
amazing.
imagine
I don't think anyone could be better than Reese.
No. Reese is as good as it gets.
And watching this now, because I have no recollection of the show anymore.
Talk about making it your own.
Reese. Yeah, he really did. But, you know, we've talked about a little bit on the Offer, which is the show, which is a great show about the making of the Godfather, and you really see the behind the scenes. But the truth is, as absurd as some of the circumstances the porn sets seem in this show, it's very realistic look at trying to make a movie with a crazy director, a crazy financier. And, you know, we just did it with Ramble On, and you deal with some of this stuff, and you have those egos and you have the stuff. So it was very real.
For context, so we're still looking for our money from Eddie Ian because it didn't work out. And I was right. As it turns out, Vince does not go upstairs to bang Yair's wife.
Kevin is talking about the last episode we talked about a couple of weeks ago where Yair offered.
He says, go fuck my wife. I will play billiards with your friends. And I will play billiards with your friends. And we were going, did he do it? I'm like, and I said, there's no way that Doug and these guys, or even HBO, would let your lead character do something. That would have been a terrible look.
By the way,
Vince.
we were at a place
terrible
during season 3 at this point. HBO would have let me do anything. There really was. They had finally released us to do what we wanted, so we could have done anything.
That would not have been a good look for
and I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast, but I had a business call, which came from these guys have a story about that takes place in Medellin, which is crazy, about this guy from Medellin, this guy who's from Arkansas, businessman, and moved to Medellin, and they want to make a movie about it. And I swear to God, they didn't remember the Yair stuff from Entourage, and they started telling me they were dealing with this Saudi, and I swear to God, they went to a party where the Saudi had 2 guys have sex with his wife in front of this entire crowd. Jesus. And then I said on the Yair scene, and they were dying. They said that's what it felt like. So some people say we're over the top with this and that. It's realistic. And this episode, you know, watching it now, Mark Mylod directed it, it looks beautiful. It moves crazy.
We're moving out of that gigantic house. Now, why are we moving out of that house?
I don't know, because I love that house.
Well, we know why. I mean, truthfully, we couldn't.
Vince is broke.
We lost the house.
Right?
Vince is broke because he's trying.
Broke.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince is sinking all of his money.
This is where you're all going to end up at Johnny Drama's apartment.
I'll tell you, though, this episode, this stuff with the real estate, I'm going through this right now, which we talked about this when we had that earlier
Drama's
episode.
looking for a place to live.
Yeah, well, they all are kind of, you know, searching for places. He's moving in with Sloan. But I'm looking for places to live right now. Anywhere from, I've talked about it, Florida to the desert to San Diego to Colorado. I don't know what I'm doing. But we had that episode on early where the guys are looking for a house. And the truth is, nothing changes. I have some pretty good money. I've done okay. You look around, it's the most depressing thing to look at real estate. You always realize you're just not rich enough to get what you want, no matter where it is.
And it is funny, some of those numbers, and of course, again, this is a long time ago, but some of the numbers on the rent that we're talking about would be laughable now.
Well, by the way, I forgot.
You know what you get for $2,500 in LA?
But that
Not
condo
much.
was 1.5. It still wasn't cheap, but that same condo would probably be 2.5.
It was
No.
1.4, but you paid 1.5.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
right. That's right.
That condo that we were
negotiator.
looking at, if it was in Beverly Hills, like the Addition or something, it would be way north of $5 million. Way north. That looked like a huge place with wraparound windows and views everywhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, you remember don't you remember it? It was a 2-bedroom.
Kev, I don't think that's where we end up. I mean, I think
isn't that the same?
I don't think it is.
It looks exactly.
It looks
That's
like
what
that
I'm
Ron
saying.
Jeremy building, doesn't it?
No,
That's what I was
that's
thinking.
where we land. That's where we end up. But we did not shoot that there.
I really have no recollection of that apartment. By the way, the realtor in that scene was great also.
Yeah,
I don't remember who he was. We should know who it was. But
all right, so we got the.
But wait, I want to interject one thing, because speaking of money, it's the only time I get to talk to you, like, is on the podcast, because he doesn't listen to me off the podcast. I wanted to do this story on the show because I always thought it would be funny, and I had a situation with one of my best friends with borrowing money, and I always thought it would be really funny if Turtle borrowed money from Drama. But you borrowed a little money from me, so am I getting it back? Or?
Well, is that now that we're talking?
You
about
muttering,
this,
stuttering prick.
No, now that we're talking about
I didn't
this,
know you were lending out money, Doug. I could use a couple bucks.
By the way, I thought it was a bridge loan for 12 hours.
investing into the Action Park merch. Is that what the silent treatment? I got the freeze out from Doug yesterday.
No, you did. What freeze out?
It was a little bit of a freeze out. I want to talk about it on the
What
air.
are you talking about? You called me. I called you 90 seconds
I said
later.
you call me when you can.
And I called you 90 seconds later, and you didn't answer.
Is that true?
Yeah, you can check your missed calls.
All right.
By the way, did you see how he
a little bit of the freeze?
Did you see how he distracted that? So I am
a
getting my
little
money back.
deflection.
Right?
Of course, we're
A
getting
little
you money back,
deflection.
but
Because I will send fucking Dillon after you.
We were in like
I just want to cut.
Yeah,
Doug and I
will
were
give you a piece.
we were in the middle of that conversation, and the phone cut out like mid conversation. Lucky for me, the phone cut out.
Yeah,
and
you're
then I
probably
couldn't
right.
get the guy. Then I couldn't get
can't
the
hear
guy
you.
for the next 12 hours. I'm like, I don't know.
No, but
man.
yesterday I called you 90 seconds back because yesterday just quick ramble on update. But we met with a big.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, it's a management company, but a big management company
Okay, cool.
that I wants to represent the show.
I'm wearing my Ramble On shirt today.
What? Oh, you wore that in the
This
show?
is
wore that in the
wardrobe.
Oh shit! That's a spoiler. Spoiler.
Yeah, a little spoiler.
We'll have to blur
Did
that
you
out.
steal the Ramble
I
on
always
wardrobe?
steal my wardrobe,
Yo, by
bro.
the way,
You know that.
You know the Ramble on wardrobe is in the basement.
No.
It's in the basement. It actually.
Wow, there might be a couple other things I need. I got to
That's the other thing I want to talk about since we're talking about Action Park Media. I pulled up today, and last week I said to Sarah, 6-month pregnant Sarah.
I think you're giving them terrible advice, bro.
Which part?
You're better off parking in the back.
All right, so what we're talking about is we had an armed robbery in the back. We had someone get a tire slashed in the back. We had a car broken in the back. We had a car broken in the front. But when I pulled up today, I mean, it looked like there was a homeless encampment in front of your entrance.
Yeah, they sleep there.
Wow.
They sleep
Who
there.
cleaned it up? Because I drove away. I went to breakfast with my son, who's here, Lucas, who played Jonah, and I was like, I can't believe this.
By the way, thankfully, because we also have guests here today for us, I was going to have to clean it. Dave was at the dentist. I'm like, I'm going to get stuck cleaning.
What do you mean clean?
Kev,
So wait.
People, it's like, it would be like if you took all your clothes out of your drawer or like it was just somebody's entire
By the way, it looked like
wardrobe.
Dillon's car in Hawaii.
It was just left there on
just
the sidewalk?
sitting there on the sidewalk. And luckily, our guy that comes on Fridays to clean the office, he saw me he said, I'll take care of it.
Was there human feces?
No, there's no, but just like people leave clothes.
What happened to the guy who owned those things? You know what I mean? This
Well,
poor
this just-
guy
this-
lost all his belongings.
This just happened. He'll be back looking for it.
But also,
and our homeless guy in this parking lot, our homeless guy is ripped.
Oh, no.
He's jacked and he's ripped.
Do you know what his workout schedule is?
I don't know, but he's ripped and he's. I put our homeless guy up against any homeless guy out there.
There's also
We could do those bump fights. You know the bump fights?
That went well for them.
There's a homeless
Bum fights.
there's a homeless couple on the corner too. I mean, it's really
They're everywhere.
No,
They're
but
everywhere.
no, but they're like a couple, and they look. It's like I don't know if you ever saw
only-
Sid and Nancy, but but they looked like really in love, and they looked. I'm looking for houses, and I'm depressed all day. They looked kind of content on Sweetser. I don't know.
Yo, the good thing about our ripped homeless guy is that nobody else is coming. in. Like, it's just at
So
least
you
him.
think he's
take
saying-
care of him. He could be like security for the block.
I could do without his clothes on the porch, but he locks it down. Like, nobody else is fucking
let's
hang
give
out in that parking
Let's
lot.
give him a couple of bucks
Give him
to
a
watch the
closet to
cars.
put
and
his
No,
stuff.
I do like. It's funny. Like I'll say, "Hey man, can I get you a water or something?" He's like he wants a beer. He's like, "What else you got?"
Water.
Water's
Scotch and water, baby.
Well, Dillon, I got some very good news for you, by the way,
What do you
because
got, bro?
Tom Kelly's a friend of mine that does a lot of marketing and branding. They heard and watched you destroy Connolly's carpet with your Cheeto fingers.
Are they going to really send a box?
They
of
are
Cheetos?
sending Cheetos. They asked for Dave's number. I don't
man.
know if they're coming
God
today. but-
forbid they bought some heads.
I love
Why don't
my
they buy
Cheetos,
some
man. I
hats?
love my Cheetos.
By the way, we'll have an announcement coming out. Actually, it'll already be out when this airs, but I figure we'll just wait until the next one. We got some Action Park news coming. It's good for everybody.
All right.
Good for everybody.
Good.
Means I'm getting my loan money back. Is that possible?
It's going to come in payments. It's coming in
All right, so let's get into this episode after the break.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
All right, welcome back, Victory the Podcast, Season 3B,
Episode 8, which closes out the 20-episode Season 3, Adios Amigos. So the storylines, again, we're just all old because we don't know why we lost the house. Because it's Vince's broke. Everybody's going their separate ways.
Vince is broke, right?
Right, and drama actually says like, "Hey, we all have to maybe start
know who may have the
considering life
answer?
on our own."
You know who may have the answer. Lucas
Let's
Ellin.
say, hey, Dave, get Lucas. Is Lucas there? Hey, Luke, jump on the mic
He
for a
knew
second.
every line. We just watched the
Lucas
episode.
Ellin.
He knew every line
Lucas,
of
who
that.
played Jonah. Let me just give you a little intro. Lucas.
By the way, Lucas, who played Jonah, is now freaking 6'2", and he's wearing a tank top.
by the way, he
Yeah, he's
barely
got-
wears a shirt anymore.
got
But
pipe
barely
guns.
hates shirts.
But Jonah, who, by the way, there's a shirt outside if you want it, Lucas, on Connolly's porch. But Lucas, who played Jonah, your whole life, as you're going to find out now, and I guess I am as well, you want your kids to think you're cool.
Thank God Lucas has gone back and watched and finds out his dad does more than play pickleball.
But the truth is that his fraternity, his pledge name was Lloyd, and Entourage, and these young kids, they're watching the show and they like it, which is very cool.
And crazy that we're asking Lucas.
The first thing they said to me when I got there, they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Lucas Ellin," and they're like, "Are you related to Doug Ellin?" I'm like, "I am." They're like, "Okay, your job as a pledge is you're gonna be my personal assistant, and you're gonna respond to one name and one name only, and that name is Lloyd."
Lloyd.
Lloyd!
Now, and Lucas, this is the guy that came to the bank on the Ramble On set that
Yeah.
day, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It's
my,
really great,
pledge
though, to
master.
see, that he now finally respects
Wait.
slightly.
So no, he didn't watch. Clearly, he was too young to be watching it.
Yeah, he wasn't
when it
allowed.
aired.
Loud.
Lucas was acting.
So
in it,
when
but
did you start watching it?
I probably started watching when I was. What do you think, Dad? 15 or 16?
Probably 15.
But
Yeah.
I just finished watching the show for probably the 10th or 11th time.
I
last
was
night.
impressed. You knew every line, man.
And
every
Lucas,
line.
I also would imagine that you have, obviously, you're a little bit older, a little bit more mature. It's got a different, it feels different when you watch it now as opposed to when you were 15. You probably have a better appreciation for it. Yeah?
Oh, for sure.
Of course.
And I mean, when you're watching it when you're younger, you don't really understand like the
Yeah, you
business
miss the
side
jokes.
of
That's
things
what I'm
and
saying, a
stuff
lot
like
of stuff
that.
isn't
And then you look at it now, and I think the thing that people love so much about Entourage is like the agent side of it. So I mean, everybody I know who like watches Entourage is like, oh, I want to be Ari Gold, I want to be an agent,
They didn't say they want to be me.
or a producer.
Well, what I can tell you, though, about this episode, actually, I mean,
Lucas, why are we leaving the house?
Why are we what?
Why are we moving out of that house?
Well, my dad is afraid that he's going to get mugged when he walks out.
No. He's gone back to real life. It's so confusing.
The lines are
In
blurry.
the show, why was Vince moving out of that
Why are we
house? Do
moving
you
out
have
of that
any
big
ideas?
house?
Oh, well, because he paid for Medellin, and so
Yeah.
he didn't
Right,
he
he's
didn't have
broke.
enough
We're
money.
low on
He was
cash.
broke. I mean, at the end of it, I go, bro, you're more broke than me, man.
Right.
So,
Okay.
But the truth is, the attitude.
The truth
that-
is we lost the house
But the
production.
truth is, the attitude that, well, that's true. But the attitude that Vince has, which is whatever, let's just
Yeah.
go. And,
Don't worry about it.
and Dillon, of course, has the other attitude that's closer to my real life of everything's desperate and desperation and looking at that condo. He doesn't give a shit. It's like, just live. And, I want to be in there, but obviously I don't know if he actually even takes that place, but I know it's going to not end well if he does. But the episode, though, it really was great. And you said I was going to cringe before. You know
Well,
what? It
you
doesn't
actually-
make me cringe. It
yeah.
actually felt really real.
Yeah. You were thinking about all the porn star stuff.
But Doug, we talked about this, but the Emmanuel Sloan in this, it's so that's you and I were looking at laughing at each other about. So I'm moving into her apartment because I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna show up with all my boxes, and we're having a celebratory lunch that I cancel. Right, because we have to go meet Ari, and she's like, "Sure, no problem. We'll just do dinner. We'll do dinner." Then we have to go to dinner at Nikki Rubenstein. Blow off. Hey, we gotta skip dinner.
It's okay. I understand.
Hey, what'd you do? Like, oh, not much. Just on the porn set, bunch of naked girls. Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, this woman does not exist in real life.
No, she does not exist. And you know what you say, the worst line I think I've probably ever written, and I don't know if I'm on the set that day because I'm not even sure I would have let you perform it that way. Certainly not today. But she says, like, what's our future, essentially? And you basically, I honestly
said, I never had thought about it.
Yeah, I'm too busy to even think about it.
I'm
but
so
I'm
busy that I can't think about you, lunch, dinner, or our future.
But I would like
that
to
is-
take over your whole apartment, leave all my shit here, go to Colombia for 6 months, and I hope you'll be waiting. You're only, like, beautiful. And Connolly he really does look like he's 14 years old in this now when I watch it. You look really young, even though you still do. But it's almost, I get why people were like, what is this little boy going? Like, you got this great woman and you treat her like shit.
You know, one of the things for actors out there, and Dillon, you could talk a little bit about this because Dillon is a master of this. Like, it's called the director gives you business, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the apartment and we're unpacking, like E and Sloan unpack boxes, right?
Yeah.
Now that's in the script, but then it comes and you actually have to break that, actually have to act that out. Dillon was always way ahead of it. Dillon was there early and we're like, all right, I need scrambled eggs.
I usually had a lot of kitchen stuff, so I could kind of plan that out at home, like what I wanted to do.
Right.
So that would be
you
part
would
of my
work on
prep.
your business. Like that's part of an actor's job. Like I tell young actors that, like, you don't just show up and then you figure it out. You go and you grab.
Because you will be so confused by all the business, you will fuck up your lines somehow.
Right.
So you really got to plan.
I think we had a
with the
couple of
props.
actors on this show that didn't prepare their business before we got there.
Yeah, I mean, walk and talks too. They will screw you up if you're not ready for a walk and talk.
You got business, like we're
a lot of
unpacking
business,
boxes and crossing
no cuts.
around.
It's
You
got to
have
be
to-
one perfect take.
Yeah. And look at some of the ridiculous things that I'm pulling out of my box. It's just so stupid.
The dice.
There was
the dice.
There was
dice. What was that?
Sloan's like, can I put this in the other room? I mean, what woman would not go, okay, this is going in the trash, Stephen Marbury jersey.
By the way, it's just a single dice, like one dice, not even a pair of dice, just a dice.
die.
And if you look closely, those are like the Rocky IV boxing gloves.
Really?
I was wondering what the boxing
The
gloves
Rocky
were all
IV
about.
boxing gloves.
What do you mean the Rocky IV
Like
boxing
with the American flag and like, the gloves from Rocky IV.
What a nerd he is.
Yeah, and
Like,
the
that's-
Stephon Marbury jersey. And yeah, never thought about the future. And by the way, I'm canceling dinner. And she just does everything with a smile. We'll talk about it later. Oh, I'm so busy. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Imagine that in real life. That's impossible.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go home and try that with Sarah tonight. I'm like, you know what? Sorry, I can't do the baby shower because I have to be on a porn set tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
But, don't worry, it's all fine.
Reese, his porn name is Wally Balls. And again,
Wally Balls.
I hadn't seen it in a long time, but that killed me, bro. I was,
How
And
great
the
is
line,
he in
too.
that episode?
what's that?
He's so great in that episode.
I said Reese. I said it to these guys before it started. Reese pitched a perfect game in that episode.
Honestly,
He really
everyone did.
Look,
And-
what was his line too? When he goes, "I'm going to bring back the
Insult
wide
me,
bush."
or I will
wide
bite
bush
off your
line.
fucking nose.
did. No, he said, I'm bringing class. I'm bringing
1970s
I'm
class.
bringing 1970s class back to porn and the wide bush.
Which I don't even know anymore if people know what that means anymore. It's
They've never seen a bush.
we did an episode.
Well, by the way, the greatest line of all time, but there was not a bush in sight on that set, and that's why we were laughing like, oh. Well,
But didn't we do
He's
an
not bringing it
episode-
back on this movie.
Didn't we do an episode where E was like freaked out about that or something like that? Someone was shaving and like that's when people started like in 2000.
By the way, we got to have Lucas in the booth to answer. He's the only guy that knows the show.
But in like 2002, 2003, I mean, maybe for any younger people listening out there, people didn't shave their parts down below before
pre-Manscaped,
maybe
bro.
I don't even know when.
well,
1998.
men didn't.
What?
Men didn't.
certainly didn't, but women didn't. Porn was porn. They had giant shrubbery.
You know, the
there.
landing strip was starting to get popular.
I think
back
Probably in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I think the point is that in the 70s, like when they shot on film, like Boogie Nights days, the wide bush was
Yeah.
was
Well, Sasha
present.
Grey said something to you, though, Kevin. What did Sasha Grey say when she was on the set?
She did. Sasha Grey should have been in that Wally Balls movie.
We didn't even know her
Yeah,
yet.
we didn't know her yet. But
she said something to you on the
she
set.
did. She said, I asked her. She said, listen, the cameras are so good that it just doesn't look great in HD.
Meaning,
What doesn't look great?
Meaning that, like,
down there, Kevin.
The axe wound?
Jesus Christ.
You know what?
Jesus
Cancel Dillon, not me. I don't want to be.
Dylan's already said two things that we're gonna have to bleep out.
You don't have to believe any of that.
We are our own people.
No.
There's an interesting story, though,
But it's
behind
true.
the
These
scenes.
cameras have come such a long way that like the HD is like so there that I don't know.
I've always liked to look at those things.
There's an interesting story, though, behind the scenes of this, which I have these voicemails, which I don't know if I should play or not, out of respect for one of the greatest actors of all time, Martin Landau.
By the way, this is a great story. I can't believe we haven't told this.
Martin Landau, we probably did, but you know what?
No, we didn't.
No?
Because I said, I think this was kind of a touchy one because he had just passed away.
Martin Landau, Oscar winner, Emmy winner, probably has a Tony also.
Oh,
on that.
I believe he got the Triple Crown.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the greatest actors to ever live, one of my favorite people of all time who played Bob on the show. Here's what happened, and we can kind of look at a little Hollywood stuff behind the scenes. Martin was probably in his 80s at this point, and he called me up before this season. And I have a rule. Nobody gets cast, not even my son, without going in front of the cameras, and we make sure that myself, Sheila, Lev, whoever else.
You guys set that precedent early and you stuck with it.
Yeah, we're not giving anybody roles. So Martin Landau, who is one of the founders of the Actors Studio, who legitimately is one of the best actors to ever live.
He was in Cleopatra.
Yeah, I mean, he's in so much stuff. And Crimes and Misdemeanors, I think he won the Oscar for. Everybody should watch that Woody Allen movie if you haven't seen it. It's one of my favorite movies. So Martin asked me, season 2, could his girlfriend or maybe
Coming into season 3.
whatever it was,
after
could my girlfriend, could you just get her a part so she gets her SAG part? And I said, she needs to read for Sheila. I'm sorry, Martin. I
said that to Martin Landau?
To Martin Landau. And Martin Landau's like, Doug, I think I know a little bit about acting. I'm telling you she's good. Okay, now, I've dealt with this a lot because a lot of people, when it's their own relationship, they are not able to separate their feelings for somebody and their talents. But she went in front of Sheila Jaffe, and when I say this, I mean it sincerely. She was one of the worst actors I've ever seen go on tape. And I could not even, in good conscience,
What a tough spot.
give her a single line. But our relationship was amazing, by the way, besides this. And he would keep asking and asking and asking. And it was
But Doug, couldn't you just give her a line and then just not air it?
You know, I could do a lot of things, but I don't want
Just
to.
help her get her SAG card. You know,
if it doesn't air, I don't think you get it. I don't think.
is
But
that
either
right?
way, I don't want to fucking help her get her SAG card. It's not what I'm here for.
The point is that
Yeah, I
Doug,
hear you, I hear you.
Doug, as crazy as this sounds, you know that Doug put himself on tape for Ari? Guy's the creator of the show. He put himself on tape.
Well, you were thinking about playing
Well, he
Ari?
just wanted
I
to
wasn't
see how.
thinking. I was dreaming that I could do it, but I couldn't. I mean,
But that's the point. If Doug, who's the creator of the show and could do essentially what he wanted, was even had himself do that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see myself on tape. So if
Lucas had to go in front of Sheila, and
Right.
I didn't tell other people that it was my son. And fortunately, people thought he was good enough that he got the role, and he was amazing. But I, unfortunately, was not good enough. Everybody, including Sheila, saw my reading.
Yeah,
and was
I
like,
think-
Well,
yeah.
what about when you did the scene with me in the audition scene?
You know
a little
I-
different
I
than
thought you were
playing.
great, though.
A
I
little
thought you
different
did a
than
great
playing
job.
Ari Gold.
Yeah,
though.
a little
They-
different
they-
than lie. Like a
Like
couple
lines.
lines here or there is
I
different
thought
than actually.
Dillon and you played off each other really well. Like,
Yeah.
Dillon goes in front of him and he's like, "This guy's a fucking animal."
Yeah. I think I got better, but the point is Jeremy is one of the great television actors in the
course.
history of the business, and maybe if I spent every waking minute from the time I was a child, maybe I would have been decent, but I wasn't there. But anyway, I was not giving away roles, and I told Martin that, and it got very awkward. But then I wanted Martin back, and as soon as I asked for him to come back, he started in again with this woman. So I said, all right, let me figure it out. So this episode is where this happened. We had 2 real estate agents, and stupidly enough, I wrote Real Estate Agent 1 and 2, which everyone should know. It's kind of become politically incorrect now not to name a character. It's considered insulting. So now even
Right, like everybody wants a character name. Like, you know what?
Why is that insulting? I mean,
why
they've
is
been doing
anything
that,
insulting?
They've been doing that for a million years.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to be named.
But if you're, who are you on Entourage? I was Real Estate Agent 1.
Right. Yeah, well, that's Johnny Drama's resume. Like,
exactly.
Right.
It's dead body number 2.
That was real, but now people want, okay, she's Carol, she's Stacy, whatever it is. It's not going to change the trajectory of their career, but it makes people feel better and that's
better on the IMDb.
But back then, we had Real Estate Agent 1 and Real Estate Agent 2. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm willing to play these tapes yet. I'm not sure if I
don't
am,
think,
but I do own them, and they were sent to me, and I will never erase them. Martin Landau was one of the greatest people I ever worked with in terms of being awesomely prepared, being easy to work with.
Super easy to work with.
And being just, he fell one day. His leg was purple, not on set, before he got there. And he never complained and did his stuff. And he said, what did he tell you? I've never missed a day of work in like 50 years.
Yeah, and he also does this thing, which felt terrible about because it was so hot out between takes, between setups. I was like running to my trailer to like strip down and just be in the air conditioning. It was like hot like that. When Martin Landau would show up to start a scene, you do not leave set until the scene is complete. When they're turning around, you sit on set. You do not leave the set until the scene is complete. That's how he is. And he's banged up. Like if ever he had a chance to go, right, take a little weight off of his leg, like leg was hurt, and he did not leave set. He sat in the chair the whole time. It's crazy.
So the script had Realtor 1 and Realtor 2. And the first realtor who shows you, I think, the first condo, and of course I'm stupid, we should know her name. She's amazing, and she's from one of my favorite movies, Arthur. She plays the hooker in Arthur, if you remember at the beginning when Arthur's drinking with her, and then he goes, oh, you're a hooker? I just
You mean you're a hooker?
I just thought I was doing great with you, whatever it is. So she's awesome and was great. But Realtor 1 and Realtor 2. I gave Martin, which Colleen Camp played the role, I gave his girlfriend, even though I know she stinks. Realtor number 2 because he wore me down so much. Then I would get calls from Martin. She wants to do a Russian accent. She wants to carry a dog. She wants to do this. Now she had like a.
Do you think Martin is behind that?
You know,
saying develop the character.
You know what? It's hard to know, and I wish to God because he would have come on this podcast, and I believe he would have allowed me to talk about this, which would have been great. Because I love the man, but this was really awful what he did. And so he's calling me constantly. I'm dealing with this 2-line part. I'm getting calls, as you know, Kevin.
She wants to do the Russian accent. She wants to carry a dog. Yeah. By the way, pretty good idea.
Not bad.
Except she can't fucking act.
So of course they say, don't work with animals. It's one of the great things.
But really, you know what the first thing is? I'll tell all young people, if you're going to direct a movie, don't work with people who can't act because you're going to get in trouble. So anyway, I wake up in the morning.
But time frame wise, where is this? Like, are we shooting the episode at this point?
We are
the job.
6 a.m. I wake up and I'm heading to set to get going.
The day of.
And I have 5 messages. First of all, even then in 2006, nobody leaves voicemails anymore. But Martin left them, which is why I still have them. And I know everybody's going to want to hear them.
Right.
He calls me and basically says there's some type of bizarre mix-up, but he thought his girlfriend was playing Realtor number 1. Not Realtor number 2. Now, Realtor number 1 has a significantly bigger part than Realtor number 2. Now, in SAG contracts, you guys know, it says very clearly what role you're playing. The sides went to her, which are the correct role. But Martin is leaving this very nice message, how he's been working on the scene. There's like 2 lines. He's been working on the scene for weeks with her. She's prepared all the stuff, as I said.
Actor studio shit, right?
With the dog, with the Russian accent, with the whole thing.
God.
And by the way, I'm not sleeping because I'm waiting for this horrific actress to show up with some stupid accent and some pain-in-the-ass dog and how much this is going to screw up my day. But I'm already stressed. But Martin leaves this. I wake up. That's message number 1. He's in San Francisco shooting a movie. And something is wrong. His girl got to set, and she was supposed to play Realtor number 1, but they're telling her she's Realtor number 2. Anyway, the messages devolve over 5 messages to, okay, something's going on here, to, okay, what the fuck is going on here, to, I swear, Martin Landau, who had to be 85 at the time and weigh about 103 pounds, basically threatening me. Like, I don't get angry often, but I'm angry now. You won't like me when I'm angry, and my girlfriend this, my girlfriend that. And then somehow reality struck Martin and realized that his girlfriend is a sociopathic liar because she absolutely knew what she was supposed to be doing. So his last message is very apologetic, and I think he realized that this.
I heard these messages.
Wow.
They are not suitable.
I mean,
for podcast
well, it's just it's not a lot of
I'm
cursing.
dying to hear these now.
It's not a lot of cursing. It's just, you're talking about one of the greatest actors of all time, who's my very close friend at the time.
I'm also dying to see this girl's performance.
She didn't make it, so it gets worse.
Oh my God.
So then I get to set, and she refuses to do the part that she has already signed on to do. So we have no actor. And anyone who's out there knows I'm dealing with 450 things. When I show up and there's no actor on the set, it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Somebody has to replace this. Number one, you want them to be good. Number two, they have to be sad.
So wait, she just refused to do it and just went home?
No,
she didn't come at all.
She did not come at all. She did not show up.
When it was confirmed that she was not playing Realtor 1, she said, I'm out.
Wow.
So Colleen Camp, who is honestly a really seasoned actor.
She's great.
She's
producer, great human, and and had a
hell of a rim job too, right?
I was about to say that.
she had to live with the thought that that's
Of course,
what she
you
did
do
on
say it.
Entourage.
I thought it, but you no control.
But Colleen Camp, who you should look her up, was the Playboy playmate in Apocalypse Now. She was this beautiful French maid in
She
Clue.
was the French maid in Clue. Yeah, she's great, and she's a real actress.
And she's a real producer who's made a lot of movies. So anyway,
that's how she played 2 roles. Dog had to call her out of the bullpen.
So she came in and saved the day.
Yeah,
on the day.
On the
When
minute.
she already played the realtor
She already
in
gave
the episode before.
No, she played.
No,
was
she
she a
gave-
realtor?
Well, she was the
No, she was the rim job and the realtor.
yeah.
She had already played the rim
So
job.
you're talking about the realtor in this episode.
In this
I got
episode,
you.
she was in it.
Okay.
You saw her. That
Yeah.
that part that she did, Colleen Camp, which was the second realtor.
She showed up on 2 hours' notice, went into hair and makeup, and did the role as a favor. Which
So
was nice.
I will always thank her, and I will always feel bad. Martin and I, it was over after that day. It was a little movie. His messages went from, hi, how are you, to fuck you, to I apologize. So it went through like 3 acts.
Can you imagine what she was doing to him?
Yeah, I can.
So did you hear him all?
She wasn't doing what Sloan does to you. I can tell you that.
Did you hear him one at a time? Or
Yeah.
did you hear them all? Like it would have been funny to listen to each one back to back.
Well, I woke up and they were all there, like 5 of them. So it was like a whole.
Kev, it starts like this, and then it goes like this, and then the last one was like him
But
saying.
the bottom line, I wake up, not only is Martin Landau threatening me, but I also realize we don't have an actor because his girlfriend is not showing up.
Not SAG and doesn't like her role isn't big enough.
It's like the episode with Damon where he's screaming at Vince on the voicemails.
Yeah, I mean, but by the way, that's what it's like. And we may have to play a snippet of this. I don't know. Well, I know people are going to ask for it, and I always promised myself I would never play it because, but...
It's almost like it would be great to play. If he was alive, we'd be playing it for sure.
If he was alive, he would be here and we'd be talking about it. Right. Hopefully his relationship would be over with that woman, which I couldn't even tell you her name, but if you're ever listening to this, you are an awful person. I just want you to know that.
Rookie shit.
And now I'm seeing my father, who was the Marvin character was based on, my father is dealing with this. I got to tell you, I mean, I know he doesn't listen to the podcast, but my father, I sent you the picture, by the way. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So my father takes out one of my ex-girlfriend's friends for 10 years. They go to dinners together, and I've always made fun of my father, who is Marvin the accountant, who is tight with his money. He's like, she's never getting a nickel from me. Never, ever. She's now 8 months pregnant. My father cannot walk. He's 90. He went to Biblo K, which if anyone's been in the Hamptons to Biblo K, this is a happening place. And my father used every ounce of strength he could to go take out my ex-girlfriend's friend Wednesday night, who's now 8 months pregnant. Right. My father has to be, helped by a couple of my cousins, went with him to go to this thing. And now my father tells me this morning he's thinking about putting our kid through college, this non-born baby yet. So so I'm just trying to imagine what a great story it would have been. The real Marvin.
We're going to have to pass on that one.
But the real Marvin, I mean, on the show, Marvin, can you imagine if we did that story where he was getting a little older and Vince and the guys had to deal with him with this young girl that he's deciding he wants to put the baby through college. So anyway,
he's not putting the baby through college.
That's what I'm dealing with right now. I had my son yelling at him that he'd rather give it to charity.
I'm going to veto that one myself.
So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, we'll maybe maybe
we should re-listen to the voicemails. Maybe we play a snippet of it. Like I said, my only thing feels weird is like if it could come off the wrong way and he's not here to defend himself.
So,
if he was here, if he was alive, we'd be playing those.
But anyway, we'll be back after this break. We'll get into this episode more. All right, welcome back, Victor, to the podcast. All right, season 3. Episode finale.
Season 3B, episode 8, Adios, Amigos.
After we just watched it together, and after we watched it, Dillon said, I remember, all the pressure you put on yourselves for the finales every year. And really,
you were so stressed.
This
Especially
was the
that
guy.
one.
This was the
And
guy
he
who
would
stressed
stress you out. Yeah, because Connolly would always go, hey, Doug, you better do a good one, man.
The finale better be the best
It
of the
better
year.
be good. It better be good.
People look forward to the finale, right? It's like that cliffhanger. You know what else?
They do, but it's not helping all the pressure you put on
Connolly
the
would be
guy.
out at shelter with Leo and Toby having the time of his life. I'd be sitting alone in a room, and he'd be calling up, be like, yo, everybody's really hoping you're going to pull through on this finale, It's,
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
But you always did, Doug. You always
Thank you.
did. This
Thank
one
you.
was a great ending.
I
to
really-
a great season.
Yeah.
Big season.
3
with a lot
was
going
great.
on. Yeah, it really
20
was.
episodes.
So how exhausted were you guys at the end of this? What is it, 4 months we shot?
No, that one was longer, bro. That was like 8 or
Yeah.
9 months, man. That
Really?
was- yeah. That was 20 episodes.
20
episodes.
eps.
That's you figure, and I tell like the guys in the office, like when we talk about Ramble On, we shot Ramble On for 8 days, and you would think the place was in smithereens. Everybody was so exhausted after the 8-day shoot. And I thought season 3 of Entourage was a 110-day shoot. Or something crazy like that. 110 days, 14-hour days, company moves. I mean, it was just a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But there was a couple things. So we talked about, again, Reese and, you think we could get Goldberg on the podcast? I don't know the guy.
I don't know him either. But, yeah, I think everybody is going to come on. We just got to...
Right.
Yeah.
We need Stock Tip needs to step up and be a producer. He needs to start calling. You hear me, Stock Tip? Say something.
I don't think we want him calling people.
I did sales for 10 years. I'm good at calling.
Yeah, so Stock Tip's his claim to fame.
All right, I like that.
for
He's
10
got
Claim to
confidence.
fame.
He's got confidence.
Whatever
going
Long
in.
Island guys that were out there, but Stock Tip claims that him and the late great Mike Bossy, one of Connolly and I's heroes from childhood, a New York Islander, one of the great all-time NHL scorers, but they both sold Islanders season tickets? Is that what it was?
And sponsorships. We had many meetings together.
So okay, but
Boxes.
you claim like you guys would compete, as if like Stock Tip would come in and finish off Mike Bossy's sales.
Dave straight up claims that Bossy stole a big sale from
Breitling.
him. Bright.
Really sad, by the way, because just looking back at times, Mike Bossy, if he played in the NHL today, would be worth $200 million.
He would not be.
He would not be talking to Stock Tip or competing.
He's
for
Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah.
He's sitting in his box and he's playing.
And right now, 99% of this podcast audience probably has no idea who we're talking
Mike
about.
Bossy,
But anyway,
right.
look him up. So it's sad. But the episode was really great and really felt so alive. And Mylod, who is one of the biggest TV directors in the business now, who does Succession, Shameless, Game of Thrones, and this looks amazing. You know, like it looks like a big movie. This episode, and
You know what? I had the memory. Oh, man, I will admit this was a stupid thing to do. I did not do it on purpose. But when we were doing the press junket because the episode ends, Adios Amigos ends with us on the balcony.
Gypsy Kings playing.
Gypsy Kings comes on, and
that
we
was
tell, E and Vince tell Drum and Turtle, hey, we got the money, we're making Medellin. They do a toast. Dillon says something horrendous in Spanish, whatever it was, about Colombia, and we're off to Colombia. When we were doing the promotion I said on a panel, first time I wasn't in trouble, but like Carolyn Strauss, who's scary. Carolyn Strauss is big boss.
big executive at HBO.
I said at the end of on the panel, I said, well, let's just say that, the season ends with the guys heading out to Colombia. I don't know why I would say that. But
you gave up.
I gave it up. I said
Wow.
it. I said it on a panel. The place went crazy. The place applauded. It went crazy.
Carolyn got mad? Or
Not
I got
mad. Not mad,
Well,
but...
you kind of gave away the storyline.
gave
But it's,
away-
How did you even know? Because I never
we
had
shot
the
it. No.
Oh, we were already
we
done.
shot it and it was already done and was like, I don't know, I got caught up like in the moment on this panel. I was like, oh, let's just say. And nobody was mad. It was just like,
And by the way, that's because
I was like, dude, what do you...
that's the next episode coming up, which I do remember. That's
which is your favorite,
episode.
Kev.
Welcome to the jungle. Well,
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
It's a unique episode. It's not
Documentary
like any
style.
other. It's totally documentary
it's
style.
like not even close to anything that season 4, episode 1, Welcome to the Jungle is. I remember when Doug was pitching it, I'm like, all right, okay. I guess.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever. We're doing like we're doing like the Hearts of Darkness
it's
version
Apocalypse Now, the making of,
now,
you know?
the making of Medellin. But I think season 4 is going to be a fun one to cover because Medellin, and then it ends. Right?
I don't know. We'll get into
I
that
think
whole
the
season.
I'm pretty sure the season 4 finale is Can.
All right, but what else are we going to talk about with this episode? Tell me what it's like. I mean, looking at the porn set, those are real porn stars.
Oh yeah, they were all real.
And
persons.
we really did everything that we tried to do, as ridiculous as it is. Like we wanted it to feel real, and that's a real porn star who he's talking to. I forgot was even in the show. I don't remember her name. Maybe,
but it's funny.
Was there actual sex going on the set?
There was.
Because I heard that maybe there was.
Dave Perkle likes to tell this story, which we
Dave
actually.
Perkle said that there was real.
We
sex.
edited this story out, which I'll tell it less grotesquely than Dave did.
And not only that, I love Perkle, and I'm sure he's listening to this. I don't know if I believe this story.
Oh, really? Well, let me tell you what he says.
It just sounds. Have you ever heard the story, Dylan?
Yeah.
A version of it. Okay,
Let me tell you what Perkle says happened. The cinematographer is known as the DP, the director of photography.
Yeah.
This is a different terminology than is used in pornography. Okay,
We're not talking Dr. Pepper.
And if you watch when we first walk when we walk in and we sit at the table with Billy Walsh and he's like talking about his picture however many picture deal.
Yeah.
You could see this couple in the back.
yeah. And this couple was real porn people.
Right.
And
I don't know if they were having. It looked like they were.
I'm not going to tell you I saw them having sex, and honestly, I was uncomfortable by the whole thing. You realize that a porn set is disgusting, whether you like porn or not. The actual live people and it's really gross.
Yeah.
But Perkle comes on, and he's the cinematographer. And he's walking around with his fucking light meter, and he goes up to that couple, and
they're
says,
sitting behind their. If you watch the shot, they're behind us on the other side of the pool, and he's sitting down, and the girl is on top of him.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know what they're doing. It looks real, but
allegedly having sex. But Perkle is holding the meter up for them for lighting to make sure they look good. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm the DP." He claims that the guy goes, "All right, man, jump on in."
the director of photography.
No, Perkle, by the way.
He probably,
here's the thing.
probably wanted to jump in knowing Perkle.
Why would it's one of those things where I don't see why he would make that up, right? But it just is too.
It's very
too
creative either way.
Clean of it, or not clean, but. I mean, can you imagine Perkle?
I believe him.
But the guy was like, "Oh, yeah," and he like spun the girl. Like, I don't know. Right?
By the way, it would have been funny in the show if we actually had that happen. Would have been so Perkle should have told me immediately.
Told that happened.
I could have figured it out. But
That would have been funny.
It was funny, but the porn set.
I mean, do you think that happened?
I don't.
Some version of it.
Why
maybe.
would he make it up? Where would he come up with it?
Where would he come up with it? There's zero upside for him to come up with that story. It just sounds unbelievable. And what are we saying? This is because I did want to tell this story. What are we saying? Are we saying little person?
You have to say Jerry Jones got in trouble for that word. By the way, not for nothing. And Dillon is never means to offend anybody. So let's be clear. Intention to me, I think, is the most important thing when you accidentally say an offensive word. But the word he said that Jerry Jones got in trouble for, the M word, that's been troublesome for a while. That was like 10 years ago. You weren't supposed to say that. But anyway, little person, I believe, is what they say. They might have changed it from that. Did you see the shit? New York, they don't want you to say inmate anymore. They're legally changing it to incarcerated.
What?
No, fuck, I forgot what.
It already sounds like a mouthful.
It's so complicated, I can't remember it. So now I don't even know what I would say. Oh, you were I don't know.
Inmate. I just said it.
Yeah, you're canceled, bro.
I'm going to keep saying inmate.
You're going to go to jail for that. You're going to be whatever the new term is soon. But
So I have, that's like that's probably my moment in the episode, right? Where I basically
Doug, it's
tell
called incarcerated individual.
okay,
Thanks,
great.
Dave. Incarcerated individual.
I mean,
There you go.
ridiculous.
Don't interrupt me ever again. So I'm having this moment where I say, "Oh, well, what do you need, Billy? You got it all right here." Like, and it's like a big thing. It's a speech. It's like, I'm selling
worked
him
hard on it.
I'm
Now
selling him on the movie. So the camera's on me and rehearse and do the scene, and there's nothing funny about what I'm saying, so I know, and I'm like looking, and all of a sudden I just see almost everybody on
The whole crew is busting out
is
laughing.
like laughing, like they're like on the floor laughing, and I'm like, cut. I'm like, and then it's just an explosion of laughter, and I'm like, what what happened. And
What's so funny?
He sent the naked little person through the background of my shot, and the guy was like, whatever. He was naked. It was like a naked little person walking.
Can I confess something?
Yeah.
So I'm a hack. I stole that. I told Dillon before we started. So the Zucker brothers, greatest, up there with the greatest
It was
comedy
your idea to
people of
send
all
that guy
time.
through the shot?
Well, I don't remember exactly how good. What I can tell you for sure,
I was not happy
It was
about
my idea to have him. It was my idea to have him in the show, and where Mylad placed him, I don't remember exactly. But the Zucker
Placed
brothers
him behind me in a very important scene.
the Zucker brothers did Airplane, and just Naked Guns. So I saw them at the Cinerama Dome on like the 15th, 20th anniversary of Airplane, and they talked about things and they showed scenes from other movies, and it may have been Kentucky Fried Movie. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they showed a scene where two doctors in a hospital, someone out there knows what this is, are having a serious conversation. Behind them, a little person is trying to reach a phone that is very high up.
Oh, Jesus.
So they are not looking. They are talking like whatever, like he's dying of cancer or whatever it is. Behind him, this little person is jumping up as high as they can to reach this phone and knocking it off like a basketball thing. And the audience is dying. They're not even listening to the conversation. So I know the scene in this was a little more, we wanted to hear what you were saying, but we also wanted the big laughs. And you were, by the way, you were pissed. You were pissed.
I wasn't, I don't get pissed. I was disappointed.
I was disappointed. No, you were pissed. You said.
I was annoyed.
He expected more out of you, Doug.
I was annoyed. Give me the heads up, so I'm in on the joke.
I actually did not want you to know about it. I didn't want you distracted, and Mylad didn't want you
I
either.
had my back turned. I didn't even see the thing until it aired.
But you would have known.
It is distracting because you could see everyone laughing.
Right, like in my eye line, I can just see 100 people like rolling around laughing. So, I wasn't mad. I was like a little bit. I was like the only one not laughing.
You weren't in on the joke.
I was not in on the
only
joke.
one.
I was just
he
like,
thought
okay,
like
cool.
his performance could carry the scene. We didn't need to stuff a little person in the background. But.
Yeah, or not even that. It's like, it was like it might have been my season-defining moment with regards to, help getting this movie made. So, yeah.
That being said, you wouldn't take the little person out of that shot. I mean, that
in
was
hindsight,
great.
it's hilarious. But I do remember, and also too, it's funny that Vince is working. Like, Billy Walsh takes the script to go read it, and we're like waiting around the set, and Vince is running lines with the porn star. It's ridiculous.
He's like, that was great. I bought that. That was really good. You want to run it again?
But it really was. I mean, it was a super awkward day. There was no. I mean, Reese is killing it so bad that that actual acting part of it, but kind of between the takes and that was kind of awkward.
Yeah,
it just was. Everybody, the only people that had clothes on was me and Adrian and Reese. Everybody else was pretty much naked, so it was a little awkward. But yeah, that's one of those things like, oh man, that must have been so fun. Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
It was pretty wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You just didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
Like everybody would put their bathrobes on. It's like, okay, rolling. And then all of a sudden, everybody in the place is naked. There's fake sex. You're just supposed to act like there's nothing going on.
Oh.
E and Vince are just like hanging out on the porn set while Billy Walsh reads the script,
It's really, it's funny as hell. I'm like, that's where they're chasing him. And Reese is still, he's so good, or Billy Walsh, whatever, is just like,
He seemed totally at home, too, there, right?
Yeah. And he's
pushing.
He's in it. He's talking about the camera, but there's sex going on at the same time.
Are you ready for the pop shot? What do you say? You useless.
useless putts.
Useless putts. Yeah.
Vincent Gallo, who's a very successful director, was doing things that were almost pornography in some of his movies. And, he was the guy that we really tried to get for this before we found Reese. And it's everything in this episode is a very realistic look at independent thing, except I don't know that anyone writes a check for $30 million. I
called that out.
Dillon is like, no, you can't have a check. It's got to be it's got to come from a bank.
It's got to be a banker's check.
You can't rip one out of the checkbook and write it out for $30 million. But that's like, true entourage style. Yeah. But Doug, I guess, it's interesting because I'm sure we're going to get into this, but touching on what Final Cut is.
Yeah. So Final Cut, which is very hard to get,
Like Tarantino and Scorsese get Final Cut.
Yeah, and luckily I got it on Ramble On, by the way. So
Nice.
Yeah, so which I think you guys are happy about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's better you have Final Cut than somebody else.
Yeah. By the way, he's not giving me the full. Yeah, of course we love the hat.
I'd like to be in on this Final Cut. How do I get in?
Thoughts on the Final Cut, but explain what Final
So
Cut.
Final Cut really means you have the last say in what will be in this movie. So very often, and as we've talked about on the Ramble On podcast here at Action Park Podcast One Connection, right? Is that too early to tell? But anyway, Final Cut means that person can decide. If I'm like, oh, that scene is not funny, and somebody else thinks it is funny, the person with Final Cut gets to determine that. And if you watch, which is
usually the studio will have Final Cut, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, HBO had Final Cut of any episode of Entourage. Now they
didn't touch it for the most part,
but
right? Didn't they leave it alone? Or
but it becomes a thing, and as a director, very, very, very few people have Final
They
Cut.
certainly didn't leave it alone in the early stages, the pilot especially. I mean, they had tons of comments on that. But by season 3, like at this point, they were letting us do what we want to do, which was great. And I was.
So you would turn your cut in, and then HBO would take it, and would they?
They'd
just
give thoughts, but they weren't.
Gotcha, and they would tell you what to do, like.
Yeah, but by this point, they were no longer telling me what to do. They were saying what they thought and do what you want. But
cool.
Everybody wants it. But the truth is, there's a lot of directors, and I'm honestly not one of these producers, whatever you want to call me. I want it to be the quickest, fastest, most entertaining thing. And if something is on the bubble for me, it's gone. Like if it's not like. I think it's great, and that doesn't mean it's always going to be great. But I try to. That's why the episodes do feel so quick and so short. And even Ramble On, we know how much I've changed it, even when we all thought it was done. So I obsess over every single moment and trying to keep it moving. But a lot of directors, including some of the best in the world, when they get Final Cut, they will leave things very long, and we can debate it all we want.
That's usually what happens. Nobody cuts them short. The directors always leave them long.
But at the end of the day, the point is like, for example, and again, I'm not saying that HBO was in on this. I know that it was you guys wouldn't do that to Vince, where Vince would go upstairs and have sex with Yair's wife.
Kind of assassinate his character.
Yeah, it just would have been bad for his character. But let's say Doug was just hell bent on doing that. Yeah. Theoretically, HBO could come back and say, no. He's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, we've talked about the episode where Ari basically sells Lloyd to get a big writer who wants to fuck Lloyd. And Ari basically makes him go down. And Carolyn, who I love and always gave great notes, she's like, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't like this. But when she saw it finished, she actually said she was wrong. And then even in addition to this, and Mad Men is probably top 3 my favorite shows of all time. But after we did that episode, I'm not saying they stole it. I'm not even saying Matthew Weiner's ever seen Entourage. I have no idea. They did the exact same storyline where Joan, to get the Jaguar account, has to go have sex with the head of Jaguar. So, it was a realistic story while it seems pushed.
Yeah, no, I mean the Final Cut thing, it comes up a lot. Usually the studio will have Final Cut. Like, you can't turn in a 3-hour movie.
And I will say to you, Kevin, maybe you don't want to talk about this right now, but Quentin Tarantino is probably one of my favorite filmmakers, and every movie is great. But Connolly got to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before I did, and he knows how much I love Quentin. And you called me and said, the end of the movie is going to hit you so hard, but you got to not give up in the middle. And the truth is, there were 4...
Hang in there, because it pays off big.
You could have cut a half hour out
easily.
of that
movie. You could always do that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you can't always do it. That's why I say there's no Entourage episodes. You can't cut.
You can't cut 5 minutes out.
Yeah,
of
they would be gone. So again, I'm not Quentin Tarantino. God bless him. I would have liked to see Irishman also, which I love.
That was long.
They could have taken a half hour out of this.
Oh,
I remember I saw Irishman with Mike Young, and I remember looking over. I'm like, how much time is left? And he was like, an hour and 45 minutes. And I was like, what? So
no, they'll listen. You're right. It just is. What do they call it? Like heads and tails. Like, do I really need to see you walk all the way down the hallway and turn in, or can you just be turning in?
But sometimes a movie...
Maybe Tarantino likes to have you walk down the hallway.
I sometimes like to see that, too.
There's some movies
there's
some movies that don't need to be cut. The Offer, they show this with The Godfather. I watched Godfather 1 and 2 over the last couple of months after seeing The Offer. I wouldn't cut a single second out of those movies. So they were perfect.
In hindsight, but at the time, maybe you're watching it going, the studios
I'm sure
did Coppola have Final Cut on Godfather?
You know what? No, not according to The Offer. According to The Offer, the studio did, but he had to convince them with Al Ruddy, the producer. But, when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just to be clear, I fucking love the movie.
Great
but
movie.
Dude, I
I would like it better 35, 40 minutes shorter.
Yeah,
I would,
yeah.
you know?
Right.
But
The question is, if Quentin doesn't have final cut, does somebody at Warner
No
Brothers go?
shot.
No, but somebody at Warner Brothers go, buddy. Listen,
Of
hate to break it
course.
to you.
yeah,
but we're gonna take tight 30.
I mean,
out
you
of
know,
this.
based on just money, if it's under 2 hours, you can make more money because there'll
more
be
screen.
more
Right. A
screens.
3-hour movie is X amount less screenings
never thought
a
of that.
day.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
That's
So,
true.
but I just think that the movie should be as long as the movie needs to be, and nothing I've ever written needs to be 3 hours. And
I have one thing. If your movie's 3 hours, it better be fucking awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
it better be world class. And you know what? Once
That's
Upon a
it.
Time in Hollywood and
it
Irishman,
was.
they are
Yeah.
awesome.
Is Once
but
Upon a Time in Hollywood, does it hit 3 hours?
It gets damn close.
It's 250 or
damn
whatever
close. And,
it
and
is.
by the way, when you watch it on cable, you can turn on Quentin and Scorsese. You can turn on almost any scene and
Right.
watch from anywhere. So it's just that first time when you're in a theater
Right.
for 3 hours, you want to hopefully go, wow, I'm shocked that was 3 hours. And both those movies, I was like, yeah, those are 3 hours. They felt it. So anyway, that's what Final Cut is. And
It's important. It's important.
what else
part
can we
for
talk
the,
about
industry
this?
type.
Adam Goldberg, we got to get him on the podcast. Amazing. Colleen Camp, we should get on the podcast
She'd be
too.
great to
And
get
is
on
there
the
anything
podcast.
else on this?
No.
Just
episode?
the end of season. I mean,
the end of the season.
just a season 3, maybe our best. I don't know. I mean, it's got
There
to
are
be.
people that would say that.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing I'll talk about.
mean, I would say
to
2
say
or
goodbye
3,
on
but
this though.
3?
We end it on Dillon in Spanish, which your Spanish was awesome.
I wish I could remember what I said there, but
So you studied how to get the accent right because you sound good, you know.
yeah, I just tried to put a little. I didn't really study, but
So I want to
Point
talk
is that
about
Dillon's
this. Though.
not just rolling up and looking at that for the first time. He did that. He
But I want
worked-
to talk
I worked
about
on it.
something
Yeah, of
else
course.
regarding the podcast. And I won't say the company name yet till we figure out this, if it's actually happening, this deal. There is this company, and this is the future, which is wild. They allegedly can take our voices.
Not allegedly. I heard it, bro.
You heard us?
No, I've heard the technology.
All right, so let me tell you what they can do. I'll stay allegedly until I hear it because it's crazy. They can take our voices without us doing anything. They can listen to this podcast, take them, enter them into their supercomputers or whatever they do.
Algorithm.
And they can spit us out in any language with our voices, with the inflections that would be proper for that language, whether it's Mandarin, Spanish, French. It sounds insane, but like some of the deep fakes that you've seen on TV and what they say is coming within a few years. Instead of the dubbing, like I don't know who watched Squid Games. I accidentally turned it on with the dub on, which it ruins the whole thing, you know? Like
They
when-
claim to be 5 years out of being able to change your mouth. To
So
speak the
essentially, they would
language.
take Entourage, and you would sound perfect in any language in the world. And they
okay,
could
I
take our
believe that
voices.
they could do that. The inflection part, I feel like that could be a little trickier.
Of
right?
course, it could be, but that's
I mean,
what they're
how are
working
you
on.
going to get the moments of where you?
Well,
inflect?
I'm not smart enough to tell you, but they say they have it.
I will tell you this. So it would be, for example, we release our podcast on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday. Don't get crazy. Not this episode, but theoretically, if we all agree to do this and we move forward, I wanted to talk to you guys about it. But we would release a podcast, the same podcast in multiple languages on the same day.
I mean,
which
it's
is very
crazy.
cool.
I mean, again, it's
kind
like
of scary at the same time.
Yeah, well, they
right?
could
I
also
mean,
have us say anything. Dylan
Yeah,
will be
they could
saying
say-
midget every other word. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there is, and I said that to the guy, and he said, quite. I asked him, I said, well, what about the deep fake? And he said, quite frankly, that's where we are, right? Like that's what safeguards are they putting in place to ensure? But at the end of the day, what can they do? They could already do it anyway.
Yeah, they could do it anyway.
I'm not
could
sure
do
you
it
can
anyway.
protect it, but
Yeah, so
they
let's
apparently
do
have,
it.
They apparently have the technology that will be great. And if you've ever been in France or anywhere and Friends comes on and you see the bad dubbing and the bad accents,
Oh, yeah.
they would really take the actual actors' voices and make them and their mouths seamlessly move so that it's playing in that language. So
Just imagine this opening up and Doug is like, "Hola!"
we'll finally have people say Medellin correctly. So that's
just
good.
like this. Again, I'm with you. I believe these guys, and whatever. When we are able to tell you what the company, you'll see this is not like some like Mickey Mouse.
Well, I'm excited to
operation.
hear
Sounds
it.
great, man. Sounds great.
But could you? It's going to be a trip to hear us. This identical thing with my inflections.
Me
it would
llamo
be-
Kevin Dillon.
Joyce said Kevin Dillon. Yeah,
Victoria.
we would be. It would be. It's going to sound.
I'm
weird.
excited to hear it. So, and I'm excited we'll come back and we'll find some more guests because everyone was excited about Gary Cole and Marlon Young.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll find some more and we'll be back soon talking about season 4.
Season 4, episode 1. That's going to be a big one.